In the grand tapestry of Chinese history, the reign of the Qianlong Emperor shines as a period of unparalleled cultural brilliance and territorial expansion. Born Hongli in 1711, he was the fourth son of the Yongzheng Emperor and the grandson of the illustrious Kangxi Emperor. From his earliest days, the young prince was groomed for greatness, displaying a prodigious intellect and a voracious appetite for knowledge. He excelled in his studies of the Confucian classics, which would deeply inform his future governance and sense of duty. Beyond academics, he was a skilled martial artist, adept in archery and horsemanship, embodying the Manchu warrior ideal. His father, the Yongzheng Emperor, secretly designated him as his successor, recognizing his capability and balanced nature. In 1735, upon his father's death, Hongli ascended the throne at the age of 24, adopting the reign name Qianlong, meaning lasting eminence. His initial years as emperor were marked by a continuation of his father's diligent and fiscally conservative policies. He sought to project an image of a benevolent Confucian ruler, reducing taxes and embarking on tours to understand his subjects' lives. However, his reign was also defined by significant military endeavors, known as the 10 Great Campaigns. These campaigns expanded the Qing Empire to its largest extent, incorporating vast territories in Central Asia. The conquest of the Dzungar Khanate was a particularly brutal but strategically decisive victory for the Qing. This expansion solidified Qing control over Xinjiang, integrating the region firmly into the Chinese state. The Qianlong Emperor styled himself as a universal ruler, a patron and leader for all the peoples within his vast, multi-ethnic empire. Yet, it is in the cultural sphere that his legacy is perhaps most profound and complex. Qianlong was one of the most prolific poets in Chinese history, composing over 40,000 poems in his lifetime. He was also an obsessive art collector, amassing a collection of paintings, ceramics, and jades that was unprecedented in scale. The emperor took a uniquely hands-on approach, personally cataloging and curating the imperial collection. He famously inscribed his own poems and affixed numerous seals onto many of the masterpieces he collected. This practice, while offering insight into his taste, is viewed by some modern art historians as a defacement of priceless artifacts. His most ambitious cultural project was the commissioning of the Siku Quanchu, the complete library of the four treasuries. This monumental undertaking aimed to collect, edit, and preserve the most important works from all of Chinese literature. Over 3,600 works were selected for inclusion, comprising more than 79,000 chapters. The entire collection amounted to approximately 2.3 million pages, all copied by hand by an army of scribes. 7 complete sets of this colossal encyclopedia were produced for imperial libraries throughout the empire. However, the Siku Quanchu project also served as a tool for literary censorship on a massive scale. As scholars reviewed texts, they were ordered to identify and destroy any works deemed critical of the Manchu Qing Dynasty. This literary inquisition resulted in the destruction of thousands of books, creating irreparable gaps in the historical record. The Qianlong court was also a fascinating site of East-West cultural exchange, largely through Jesuit missionaries. Artists like Giuseppe Castiglione, known in China as Lang Shining, became favorite court painters. Castiglione created a unique hybrid style, blending European techniques of realism and perspective with traditional Chinese themes and materials. He and other European artists contributed to the design of the European-style palaces at the Old Summer Palace, the Yuan Mingqiuan. These structures, with their elaborate fountains and Rococo architecture, stood in stark contrast to traditional Chinese design. The Qianlong era saw the perfection of many decorative arts, particularly in porcelain production. Imperial kilns at Qing Dynasty produced wares of breathtaking technical skill and vibrant, complex glazes. The familial rose palette, with its soft, opaque enamels, was used to create incredibly detailed narrative scenes on vases. Jade carving also reached a zenith, with artisans creating large-scale, intricate sculptures from massive boulders of nephrite. One famous example is the Great Yu Taming the Floods, a sculpture depicting a legendary scene of engineering and perseverance. The emperor's personal taste favored ornamentation and technical virtuosity, a style that has come to define the period. To showcase his legitimacy and power, Qianlong embarked on 6 grand southern inspection tours. These journeys to the prosperous Jiangnan region were immense logistical undertakings and powerful acts of political theater. He visited key cultural sites, met with local elites, and performed Confucian rituals to reinforce his mandate. These tours were meticulously documented in a series of monumental commemorative hand scrolls, painted by court artists. The mid-Qianlong reign represented the absolute peak of the Qing Dynasty's wealth and power. The treasury was full, the population was growing, and the empire enjoyed internal stability. However, the later years of his reign saw the slow creep of decline. Corruption began to fester, most notably around the emperor's favorite official, Eshan. Eshan amassed a personal fortune of staggering proportions, effectively bankrupting the imperial treasury through his greed. The emperor, in his old age, seemed either unwilling or unable to curb Hessian's growing power and influence. The massive cost of the military campaigns and the grand tours had also placed a severe strain on the state's finances. In 1796, in an act of filial piety so as not to reign longer than his revered grandfather Kangxi, Qianlong officially abdicated. He became a retired emperor, though in reality, he retained ultimate power and authority. He continued to influence policy and make key decisions from behind the scenes until his death. The Qianlong emperor passed away in 1799, bringing his long and momentous era to a definitive close. His son, the Jiaqing emperor, immediately had Hessian arrested, seizing his vast, ill-gotten fortune. The legacy of Qianlong is one of dazzling cultural achievement, shadowed by authoritarian control and late-reign decay. He presided over a golden age of Chinese art, preserving and cataloging its heritage on an epic scale. His reign fixed the image of China in the Western imagination as a land of exquisite art and imperial splendor. However, his literary inquisition destroyed a significant portion of that same heritage. The territorial expansion he achieved created the basis for the modern Chinese state, but it came at a great human cost. The corruption he allowed to flourish in his later years fatally weakened the Qing Dynasty from within. Ultimately, the Qianlong emperor's era was a cultural peak from which the dynasty would slowly, but inexorably, decline. His life was a testament to the immense possibilities and inherent contradictions of absolute power. He was a scholar, a poet, a warrior, and a patron of the arts on a scale rarely seen. The Qianlong emperor's influence on Chinese aesthetics and culture continues to be felt to this day. His collection forms the core of the palace museums in both Beijing and Taipei. He saw himself as the sole arbiter of taste and the ultimate guardian of Chinese civilization. The art produced under his reign is characterized by its technical perfection and intricate detail. He commissioned vast numbers of religious artworks, particularly in the field of Tibetan Buddhism. The emperor was a devout follower of Tibetan Buddhism, seeing it as a way to link the Manchu, Mongol, and Tibetan peoples. His reign also saw the production of magnificent textiles, including elaborate silk dragon robes. The emperor's many portraits, often painted by Castiglione, show him in various roles, as a scholar, a warrior, and a family man. The population of China nearly doubled during his long reign, leading to increasing social and economic pressures. Despite the surface splendor, social unrest like the White Lotus Rebellion began to bubble up in the later years. Qianlong's interactions with the West were limited and often based on a sense of cultural superiority. Famous Macartney Embassy of 1793, which sought to expand trade, was largely rebuffed by the aging emperor. This encounter highlighted the growing gap between a rapidly industrializing West and the self-assured but technologically stagnant China. The emperor's view was that the Celestial Empire possessed all things in abundance and had no need for foreign goods. This mindset would have profound and negative consequences for China in the following century. He was a ruler of immense energy, often waking before dawn to handle state affairs. His calligraphy was considered a model of excellence, and he often bestowed it as a great honor. He undertook massive public works projects, including dredging rivers and expanding canals. The emperor was also an accomplished hunter, seeing the annual hunt as a vital Manchu tradition. He built the Chengde Mountain Resort as a summer palace and a place to host Mongol nobles. This resort was a masterpiece of landscape design, recreating famous scenes from around the empire. His personal life was complex, with numerous consorts and children, though he showed special favor to Empress Xiaoxiang Kuntortor. Her death in 1748 affected him deeply, leading to a period of intense mourning and political purges. The emperor's passion for theater led to the flourishing of Peking opera in his court. He was a micromanager who involved himself in even the smallest details of artistic and state affairs. This attention to detail produced works of great quality, but also stifled some creative innovation. The Qianlong emperor's reign was a long and dazzling performance of imperial power and cultural patronage. He sought to synthesize and order all of Chinese culture under his own imperial vision. His era was the final, brilliant flowering of traditional, imperial China before its collision with the modern world. The world he built was exquisite, orderly, and vast, but it was also insular and resistant to change. In the end, the story of Qianlong is the story of a glorious peak, defined by the long shadow it would cast.